Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Eventful Endeavors. I'm Mike Sherman with Felix and Fingers Dueling Pianos. Today, meeting with the lovely and talented Katy Cook. Katy is currently the venue manager and the marketing manager at Glen Erin Golf Club. She's been with the club for 5 years, ever since they opened the Celtic House event space in 2019. She was there from the ground up, helped make the space what it is today. She went to Augustana College, where she double majored in business administration and communication studies. After college, she moved to Milwaukee to begin her career in events. She's worked for Zilli Hospitality Group as an event designer. She's worked at Geneva National as an event manager, and now the Glen Erin Golf Club. She's planned events from international conferences to weddings, loves every part of it. And in 2021, Katy actually attended the David Tutera Experience in Orlando, Florida, where she spent 3 days with celebrity wedding planner David Tutera, learning more about the wedding industry. That's so awesome. She's been a part of the Knot and Wedding Wire Awards, as well as been a finalist for the Best Country Club Golf Course Venue in Wisconsin for the last 4 years at Glen Erin Golf Club as part of the Best of Wisconsin Bride event. She's ultra passionate and makes every event spectacular for each customer. Love all of that, Katy. Thank you so much. How did I do? Did I get that bio at least 99% accurate?
Yep, it was perfect. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, great. Well, I'm so happy to see you. We've obviously worked together before.
Yep.
So great to see you. I know Michelle Grasser. You both know her, and we both worked with her. I did an interview with her a couple weeks ago too, and she was like, "You have to talk to Katy." So I'm so glad that you were available and willing to chat with me. So talk to me. It sounds like you've quite a journey that's kind of taking you through this. How did you get started in the industry? What kind of made you fall in love with it? And talk me a little bit through your journey through kind of Zilli and Geneva National and then now where you are at Glen Erin.
Yeah, of course. So I've been in the hospitality industry since I was 15. I started working in my hometown it's called the House of Events, which was just an event banquet hall. And I kind of fell in love with it there. We had a lot of weddings that came through. And I remember when I was getting ready to go to college, I'm sitting there with my mom and I'm like, man, I don't know what I want to do like with the rest of my life.
Right.
And she's just like, well, you're really good at customer service and you seem to like parties. And I'm like, yeah, you're right there. So
what are you trying to say, Mom? Come on.
Right? So I'm like, event planning, I guess I'll try it out.
Nice.
So I went to college and majored communication and business. And there I took a lot of internships with events at Botanical Center. I did international conferences with Augustana, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with more of the wedding side of things. I do corporate as well, but weddings are my passion. And so after college, I moved to Milwaukee. I got a job with Zilli Hospitality Group, and I worked at the Milwaukee Public Museum for a while for them as an event designer. So they were an exclusive at that venue at the time, and so I helped plan a lot of those events and then 7 other venues in the Milwaukee area.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went to Geneva National, which is where I met Michelle Grasser. And I did event managing there. So I coordinated all the weddings and member events. And then after that, Glen Erin was building this brand new banquet facility. And I was like, that would be really fun. I've never been with a company that started, from the ground up. So it was funny. My GM at the time was like, so I basically don't really know what I'm doing with this wedding venue, but I'm building it and I just need people to run it. And I'm like, sweet. He's like, you can make it your own. Yeah. And I'm like, great, making it my own on someone else's dollar. Cool with that. So I've been there ever since we opened. That was 5 years ago, 2019. And it's a big banquet hall, sits right in the middle of a golf course. So we are 18-hole golf course. We have a small restaurant, pub, and grill there. And then the banquet hall now. We used to have this tent in the back, which is where the banquet hall sits now. And it was getting pretty run down. And so our GM was like, well, we could either replace the tent that only holds like 60 people, or we can build a 4-season banquet facility where we can do events all year round.
Yeah.
That's what he did. And we've been busy ever since. Obviously, opening in 19 right before COVID was kind of a punch in the gut. But we
Yeah.
got through it, and things are, pretty much back to normal now. But we do weddings, we do corporate events, we do social events, and our capacity is, I say 420 for a wedding with no tables on the dance floor, and then up to 500 for
Wow.
any other event.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
lots of events.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how many people I've talked to, just not even just in this podcast, but just in over the course of time that it started their business in like fall of 2019 or
Yep.
something. I'm just like, oh my.
Seriously, and it's like I've talked to a lot of people like that too, and it's like we started at the worst times, but we got through it, and here we
Yep.
are.
I mean, it's right, and everybody that survived is stronger than they could have imagined. So
Yeah.
very good. No,
Yeah.
that's great. Well, and so at the club, I mean, what if someone's walking in at the club, like what makes it so cool? Like what why should somebody have their wedding or their event or something at Glen Erin? What's
Yeah.
awesome about
Well, other than the scenery, I mean, a golf course venue, that speaks for itself. You have endless photo opportunities.
it?
I
Yeah.
always say we're like the hidden gem of Janesville. So a lot of people still don't know we're there for the Celtic House. And you drive in, we're right by the airport there in Janesville. So it's like you drive in right off the highway. There's not really much around. And then all of a sudden it's these rolling green hills. And
Oh
you're
yeah.
like, whoa, this is beautiful. But I would also say too, we have an all-inclusive venue in which it's not plus for everything. We
Sure.
include in-house catering. We have a venue coordinator, myself, that helps you from the moment you book through the day of your wedding. I stay and help with all the vendors. You get a banquet manager the night of. You have a whole team of servers and bartenders, as well as our executive chef. So, I mean, it really is kind of a one-stop shop. We help with your timeline. Basically all your coordination and all questions, and we don't limit the number of emails or the number of meetings that you have with us like some planners will do.
Sure.
So it's truly meant to be a one-stop shop, and just can have everything there, including your ceremony and reception.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's so great that you've kind of been there since the beginning. Like, I definitely have to imagine you have a little bit more pride kind of in what you do just because you were kind of part of it, building it up.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I always say. It's like, when you're any sort of business, it's like if you have the money and you put in behind it, like great, hire people to know what they're doing. It's like, that's like, don't make that be on you. It's like, be smart, hire brilliant people and have them do their thing. So that's so awesome that you've been there since then. And still 5 years later, you're still rocking it out there.
Yeah. And I always say too, that's, a big selling point as well, is I've been there from the beginning. I've been literally at every single event that we've had. So I pretty much know the ins and outs of the place.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, so now tell me of the shows that you do there, or not the shows, I'm a musician, I talk about shows, of the weddings, events that you do there.
Show, yeah.
Yes. What kind of is the like what percentage of weddings do you do versus like other types of events? I mean, is it mostly kind of weddings on the weekends, or do you do a lot of like kind of corporate stuff then too, or is that more weekday stuff?
So corporate is more weekday. We try to keep our weekends for weddings. We're I would say when we first opened, we were super slammed with weddings, and it's kind of, fizzled out just a little bit. So this year we've noticed it's just a little bit slower with weddings. I think that has some, thing to do with the COVID and the engagements and all of that. But ideally we like to be more weddings, but realistically right now we're more corporate and social.
Okay, cool.
And we're working back to getting to where we want to be with weddings, hopefully every weekend. But
Right. Nice. That's amazing.
yeah.
Great. I mean, yeah, it's like we at Felix and Fingers, obviously we do a ton of weddings, but like, yeah, the corporate stuff too. I personally am an advocate of liking to do a little bit of everything, because you don't, it's like I love weddings, but if I have a month and it's 2 weddings a weekend for the whole month, at the end of the month, I'm like, I'm a little weddinged out for the moment. So
if you have them back to back, then it's like, okay.
Yeah. Oh boy, keeping them all straight and everything. So.
Oh yes. Yep.
Yeah. Well, talk to me a little bit about just like, I guess more weddings specifically, but feel free to branch out from there. But like what are you kind of seeing as somebody who just sees a lot of these weddings? I always like to ask, what's kind of in, what are some trends that are coming through? What's kind of on the way out?
Yeah.
Everyone else has different answers to this. So I'm always, I always learn something new about that.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of funny too, because I know you do shows in New York and Chicago and wherever. When you have those bigger cities, Janesville's not a big city where I'm located. So it's like the trends start there. and then it seems like a year or two later, then they get to me.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm sure you see kind of all different kinds of things.
Right.
But I would
And you get
say,
even further away, and it's like 5 years later.
oh yeah, you start in LA, and then 5 years later, it's
Right.
like, oh, it's in Janesville now. That's
Right,
cool.
right,
But I
right.
would say one of the big ones lately that I've seen is mocktails at weddings.
Oh,
So
okay.
it seems, I don't know if it's a trend or whatever, that
Yeah.
people are wanting more cocktails that don't have alcohol for those
Sure.
that maybe are sober or don't drink.
Yeah.
That's big with corporate and weddings.
Yeah.
So there's always like that signature drink at weddings, it seems like. And lately
Mhm.
it seems like there's an alcoholic version and then a non-alcoholic version, which
Oh,
is
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would say a few other ones. Wedding cakes seem to be going out, just like the
Yeah.
small cake for cutting, and then
Sure.
some type of dessert station. That's been for a couple years now. The audio guest book is a big one lately that I've seen,
Yeah.
where you have the telephone and you leave a
Telephone.
voicemail,
Yeah.
which
I
is
like
really
that.
cool. I actually really like that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
Especially for like if you have grandma at the wedding, and then grandma can leave voicemail and you have her voice then forever. I just think that's so
Right.
fun.
Oh, yeah. No, that's really cool. Yeah, no, I love seeing the phone. I've seen that pop up a few times
Yep.
recently. Yeah, I just started seeing this cool thing. It just came to me. It was, I mean, there's so many like photo sharing apps and all that stuff, but there's this like thing where it's like I don't know if you've seen it. It like kind of turns your phone into like a digital camera in a way. Like it
Yeah.
basically, it's not like an app. It's like, it's called POV, I think. And then it's like you have 25 total pictures to take, and that's all you get. And you like take
Yep.
them and it uploads it. And I thought that was really kind of cool.
And then it's like
Unique
an
stuff.
album for them to go through,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
but
saw that, I think, on TikTok or something.
yeah, like you didn't have to download an app. It just like I don't know if it's just an iPhone thing, but it just like your phone just like scans it and just like kind of transforms. Like you didn't have
Yeah,
to download anything. I was like, I don't know how they do these things, but I
that's
thought it was
an
super cool.
awesome idea, I think.
Yeah.
Because then you have photos from your guests that your photographer wouldn't normally take,
Right. Totally. And it's like, I think people love the idea of the disposable cameras, which of course used to be a big thing at weddings, like putting one on every,
Yes.
like no one actually wants to deal with them and the photos are all going to turn out bad. So it's kind of that nostalgic, kind of disposable camera thing, but you don't actually have to deal with any of the bad stuff that goes along.
Yep. I was going to say, my sister did the disposable camera thing, like, what was it, 10 years ago
Yeah.
now, and none of them turned out.
Yeah. It was me. I got married 14 years ago and we used disposable cameras. I don't think we got a single good photo out of those 15
I
cameras.
don't think she did either. I was like, well, that was a waste. Cool idea, but no.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
But those
Oh,
instant photos, that's a big thing right now for guest
yeah.
books too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for a little bit, but it's like a Polaroid.
Yep. Something. Yeah. And I don't know.
That's
There
cool.
might be a few different versions of it, but yeah, I've seen that. I think one of my wedding this weekend might have it too. And I've seen it like twice
Yep.
this month. So very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty popular.
All right, great. So say someone gets engaged like yesterday, in your opinion, like what should they do? Like they're overwhelmed, they're not sure what to do. I have my thoughts on it, but like, what do you recommend is kind of the first couple of steps someone should take?
The first step I always say is enjoy it. Don't jump into planning right away. Enjoy, take a few weeks and just be together and enjoy the engagement, because once planning starts, then I feel like you start to get a little overwhelmed, I always say pop the bubbly and enjoy a little bit of time.
Right.
And then I would say your next step is obviously your guest list. That's, I think, the most important, because you don't want to start looking at venues that you fall in love with that's way too big or way too small, and now your guest count doesn't fit and you have to start cutting back.
Yeah.
So guest list number 2, and then venue number 3, just because then your vendors are going to say, well, what's your date and where are you getting married?
Right.
If you say, I don't know, then it's like, okay, well, we can't book you until you have that.
Right.
So venues, I mean, like one of the first steps other than enjoying and doing your guest list.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. No, we get a lot of that too, where people reach out to us and they're like, we definitely want the dueling pianos at the wedding. We don't know where it is. We don't know when it is. I'm like, all right, I can get you some general pricing. I can give you as much info as you, but like, I can't obviously lock anything in until we have a date and a location,
Right. Yep. Because then you have travel fees and stuff like that. So yeah, that's important.
Right. Well, I see a lot of people choose a date. They're like, this is our date, but we don't know where we're getting married. And I was just feel so nervous because I'm like, I hope you don't find that place you love and they're not available on that date. So it's like, it's good to have a little fun.
Happen. That does happen more than you think. And I get that a lot. And I'm like, okay, well, we don't have that available. Is it flexible? And they'll say like yes or no. And then they realize no place available that day. So then they have to kind of reconsider.
It's like, some of those October Saturdays, we fill up 2 years in advance. It gets crazy. So Oh my god. Well, yeah, just on the topic of like the trends and everything. I mean, is there anything? I mean, is there anything you highly advise against not doing? Is there anything that people maybe say they want to do, and you sometimes have to talk them out of it? Kind of like anything, I don't know, like cringeworthy, or I don't know.
Oh, I feel like there's a lot of things, but I don't know. One of the things that comes to mind is the sparkler thing is a big trend,
Sure,
like
sure, sure.
you do
Yeah.
the sparkler send off. But one thing that it's not that I talk them out of it. It's
Huh.
just, okay, well, at some point, and the DJ hates it. And I know the DJ doesn't like it because everyone has to leave the dance floor
Right.
and then trying to get them back on the dance floor after.
Oh
But as
yeah.
a coordinator, I don't love it only because it's like herding cats.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have people, it's usually by the end of the night, and it's not always like at the very end. That would be more helpful. But
But
a lot
sometimes
of
it's
times it's like,
before the photographer leaves. It's like he's
what?
not staying all night,
Photographer
maybe.
leaves at like 8 or 9. And so it's like, all right, everyone prime dance time needs to go outside. Some people are a little incoherent that time, and you're giving them fire. And then, I don't know. There's just a lot of like moving parts with that yes, the photos are awesome from it. But I hate doing it.
I know. I mean, with me, it's always like sometimes we're on the phone and they're like, "Oh, we're going to do a sparkler send off." And I'm always like, "Okay, that's fine." Like how, like I'm like, "How is it going to work?" And they're like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay." I was like, "I should like people are just going to wander around like it'd be great if I say this is where you get the sparkler, this is who's going to light it, this is where you
Yep.
drop it off afterwards." Like a lot of times they just have a bunch of sparklers and maybe the maid of honor is like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of it," but like no one knows what's going on. And I was like,
Yep.
people are drunk. They're tired. Like I need to give them very clear instructions. So,
Yes.
like,
And I've actually had 2 different times where there was a legit fire from it. And I'm like, this is fun. I'm actually putting out fires.
right.
Yeah.
No,
So I don't
literally,
love that one,
literally.
but
No, that's a great answer. Yeah, no, that would be something I would. I mean, by the time they get to me, it's like it's already done, so I can never talk
yeah.
anybody out of that. But yes,
Well,
yes.
and a lot of times the couple will be like, oh no, I got it. Like, we'll figure it out. And I'm just like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. I'll handle it.
You might be drunk too at that point. Okay.
Yeah,
So
correct.
right. Oh my gosh, no, that's a great answer and absolutely something I would see as something that might possibly come up.
Yep. That
um,
seems to be kind of going out though.
yeah,
I will say that. It was really big like 2 years ago, and now you get it every now and again, but
yes, no, I would agree with that. I don't see it. I do have one May 4th, I think. I do have a sparkler send off. I always kind of ask them, like, do you have any sort of like send off at the end of the night, like sparklers or anything? And no one ever says yes. And they're like, no, we're doing sparklers. And I was like, oh, that's my first one all year, I think. But
yep.
yeah, but you get you can get some good photos. So I understand it.
Yeah, it is true. Yep.
Yeah. So then as far as Glen Erin goes, I mean, what is it like booking with you? How far in advance do you recommend people reach out? I mean, obviously ASAP, I'm sure, is kind of the general sense, but I mean, do you still have dates available this year? Are you looking more 2025 right now? Like,
So we do still have dates available this year. The likelihood of booking those dates is small, I would say. Most people book a year out for us anyway. The sooner the better. However, I mean, I know you and Michelle talked about on the last podcast or whatever that you can book a wedding in a month and we will do it and we will
right.
make it great. Those are rare, but we do get some of those a few months out. I personally love those. But then a lot of ours are a year out. So mostly we're booking for 2025 right now. But we do still have dates if people are interested this year.
Nice.
And then one thing that I wanted to mention too is if you do book from this podcast or you hear us on this podcast and then you reach out, you would get $500 off your room rental this year or next year. And then 5% off food and beverage. So
nice. Yes,
reach
awesome.
out.
Yeah, so definitely mention that you heard her here and definitely take advantage of that. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
For
sure.
Add up for sure. Well, great. I mean, I think that's kind of all the questions I have for you today. Was there anything else you wanted to say? Anything else we didn't really cover that you might want to put out there? Any other advice or info about the club or anything? I mean, I think we covered quite a bit here.
Yeah. Just want to reiterate that we do have dates, open houses at our venue. We do once a month starting in May. So follow our Facebook, follow our Instagram, and keep up with all of we have public events coming up. We have open houses. come out and tour and reach out to me and get the discounts. And we still have dates available this year and next year. So
Great. Amazing. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been such a joy. Again, this has been Katy Cook with Glen Erin Golf Club. And you said you're in Janesville, right? Is where you look at
Janesville, Wisconsin.
Great. So definitely reach out to her. We'll have all of her socials and everything shared, right here where you're checking out the podcast. So definitely reach out if you're looking for an awesome place to have an event. But Katy, once again, thanks so much for chatting with me this morning. It's been a real pleasure. And everyone have a great day. This is Mike Sherman with Felix and Fingers Dueling Pianos, wrapping up another exciting episode of Eventful Endeavors. And until we see you next time, bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.